Is a woke Europe a dead Europe? Even as the US and Israel plans on how to deal with the Palestine problem, there is a growing momentum in Canada, the UK and France. These American allies are planning to recognize the Palestinian state at this crucial juncture. And it isn't just a worry for the US and Israel, but has also raised deep concerns across the European continent. At a time when Hamas is openly rejecting talks with Israel and refuse even to discuss an end to hostilities, this dramatic shift towards recognition appears to reward the Hamas's ill doings in Gaza. From America's perspective, this decision carries serious risk, not just for peace efforts in the Middle East, but for the Europe itself. Canada, UK and France have each proposed recognizing Palestinian state in the UN General Assembly, tying their decision to Palestinian Authorities reform and explicit expulsion of Hamas from the future governance. The intention is clear: to promote moderate Palestinian leadership and push for a two-state solution. Yet by moving forward while Hamas maintains de facto control over Gaza and actively resists any negotiation with Israel or Europe and its partner, it risks embodying the very force that most distrust the peace process. In fact, Israel and United States have sharply criticized these moves, warning that recognition amounts to rewarding terrorists and may offer Hamas exactly what it wants: international legitimacy without any requirement to end violence or release hostages. It's also important to remember that Europe itself has been a frequent victim of Islamic terror, including attacks claimed by Hamas's regional and ideological kin. France, Germany, the UK, Spain, Austria and other countries have suffered countless attacks since 2015. Paris's Bataclan massacre, 2016's Nice truck attack, the Manchester Arena bombing, among many others, leaving hundreds dead and many more wounded. These attacks have left deep scars on public consciousness, law enforcement and policy. The perpetrators often cited radical motives, sometimes explicitly in solidarity with the Palestinian cause or its response to developments in the Middle East. Europe has invested billions in humanitarian assistance to Gaza, hoping it would relieve suffering and build trust for peace. Tragically, these recent developments show these aspirations being undermined. In fact, on July 25, 2025, the Israeli Defense Forces released clear video proof of armed Hamas terrorists violently looting humanitarian aid trucks intended for Gaza's civilian population. Rather than reaching those desperate citizens that truly need that aid sent through UN, Red Cross and other organizations has often been allegedly hijacked by Hamas. The Israel Defense Forces have often shared perpetrated videos of these feasts on foreign aid meant for Palestinians, in fact in Hamas tunnels and other locations. In fact, these alleged diversions fuel black market profit, patronage and control, while ordinary Gazans continue to suffer. The footage contradicts claims by Hamas that looting has been the work of security personnel. The IDF and other observers maintain these are unequivocally Hamas members, and this is a part of a systematic effort to control and weaponize humanitarian relief as a tool of power and propaganda within Gaza. Countering these claims are reports leading up to the release of aid by Israeli forces. Allegedly, IDF troops opened fire on hungry Gazans lining up for the food. Recognizing Palestine under current conditions while Hamas flexes its power sends several troubling signals. Instead of isolating terrorists, it risks validating a group that continues to reject negotiations and actively undermines regional stability. Then comes how the Palestinian Authorities, already sidelined by Hamas in Gaza, could be further weakened if recognition is seen as a reward for Hamas. And of course, after years of suffering from terror at home, Europe's willingness to politically reward actors tied to these ideologies may confuse and alienate its own citizens, raising uncomfortable questions about the consistency and wisdom of its foreign policy. With video evidence of aid convoys being looted, European taxpayers may lose trust in their government's ability to safeguard humanitarian projects, leading to skepticism, backlash, and less support for the future intervention. In seeking to do the right thing, Europe may be walking directly into a trap of Hamas's making, by granting recognition before true peace is on the table and with clear evidence that both dialogue and aid are being subverted. Europe risks not just harming the peace process, but also undermining its own security, moral clarity, and international standing. This is not just a diplomatic misstep. In the eyes of many, it looks worryingly like succumbing to a propaganda from a group whose tactics have spilled far beyond the Middle East, with deadly consequences for Europeans themselves.